Hi, good evening. Tonight I'm going to talk about a very complicated issue. Um, Over the time, I find out that the power output of the SSB is not ideal. For example, if I send out 100 watts from the radio, the internal power meter from the radio says 100 watts, but the external power meter shows only 30 watts. It does not happen on the other modulation, such as AM, FM, CW. And I wonder why. And some people claim that it's because ALC limits the power output, and they, or even on the website you can see that they propose a change and modify a capacitor. So basically, make the ALC send out more power. The ALC limits the power. For example, if my radio, this is the Icon IC7300, this radio. If the radio set to say 100 watts, ALC basically cut the power. I mean the peak power. Remember, it's the peak power, not the average power. Cut the peak power to 100 watts. So the ALC is like a limiting factor. If the power, in the SSB mode, if you talk, if you set the radio to 100 watts, but say you talk pretty loud, to a certain point, ALC will limit the power to 100 watts. There's no way the radio can send out more than 100 watts. I do not mean that 105, 102, just close to 100 watts. There's no way to send out some power significantly more than 100 watts. That's because ALC is there. So some people modify the ALC circuit and make the ALC send out more power. Okay, first let me show you that my radio is performing well on the power. I in the other video tape, I already YouTube video, I already showed you how to do it, but I do it quickly here. I send CW, and here is 10%, means that 10 watts output, and at this frequency, and this radio is sending the power to here, to this attenuator. This is 20 dB attenuator. Not really a 20, it's like a 20 point something. And after that, it's RF bridge. The RF bridge is this pass. You can think this pass as a lossless pass. There's a little bit loss, maybe half dB, 1 dB loss here, but you can treat this lossless pass, and then this output goes to my scope. Here, okay. This is the setup. I have other video, YouTube video shows the setup and shows the testing for each band. Let's do it again. If I send out CW tone, it's a pure sine wave. And in other YouTube video, I showed you how to get the formula. The formula is this one, the top line. P equals 20 log V minus 56. And let's put 10 watts in. So 10 watts is equal to 40 dBm, and the attenuation is 20 dB attenuation. So the this sine wave's P2P voltage is 6.3. Okay, and let's see if this is 6.3 volts output on the scope. I expect a little bit less because I know that my attenuator is not exact 20, maybe 20 point something, and the average is maybe 1 dB loss. So I expect a little bit lower than 6.3. Let's do it. 5.7 watts. It's pretty close to 6.3. I would say it's about 1 dB less. So I would say, considering the loss on the RF bridge and the attenuator, I would say I do receive 10 watts output. So basically, it shows you that if the radio is set to 10 watts, I do receive 10 watts in the CW mode. Okay, let's look at the external power meter. What external power meter says? It is 10 watts output, or a little bit less, but close to 10 watts. This is the external power meter, and the max here is 20 watts, and the 10 watts is around here. Let's see. Yeah, it's about 9 watts. Good. So the watts meter, the scope, all looks good. Now let's do something on the SSB. Okay, change this one to SSB. Okay, and still 10 watts. Microphone gain is 50%. No compression. And I put some weather channel. Wind waves around 3 feet. Okay, let's see. Southwest swell 2 to 3 feet at 16 seconds. Oh, by the way, I forgot one thing. I need to mark the maximum power. Okay, did you see that T there? I already preset. This T here shows the maximum amplitude of the sine wave output. This T right here. Oops, you did not see the T. Okay, did you see that T here? T shows the maximum amplitude here. So this is a 5.7 watts mark. Basically ALC will limit power above this line, this orange line. We will see that. Anything on this line, the radio will think it's 10 watts. Above that, ALC will limit that. Okay, now let's go back to. Now we can go back to the SSB. Still 10 watts, no compression, and the microphone gain is 50%. Let's play some music. 15 seconds. You're listening to NOAA Weather Radio. Did you see that? C49, broadcasting on a frequency of 162.5
Okay.
All the waveform is within this 5.7 watts. And let's look at the what external watts meter says. Okay. The max watts is only 2 watts. Okay. So it tells me that in the SSB mode, even I tell radio to send out 10 watts, the actual power output is only 2 watts. Why is that? The reason is very simple. Let's take a look. Here. This web page shows you why, because because the speech is like that. This is the speech waveform. Okay. The peak. Okay, the peak is if you keep sending the peak volume is 10 watts, but the audio signal is like that. So the average, this watts meter shows the average. It's here. It's much less than that. So it's maybe 20%. The average is 20% of the peak. So this is consistent to what we saw earlier. You radio says send 10 watts out. The actual average power is 2 watts out. The peak power is 10 watts. My watts meter, even though I put here is a peak here. Actually, it's really doing it. What it really doing is average 2 watts. This is not as good as the birds. So just say it should be the average 2. But you can see from the scope that the waveform hit the maximum, which is 10 watts. Okay. So one way to boost the signal we can see is to play with this microphone gain. The second point. So microphone gain can boost the SSB output. Let's take a look again. Here, the microphone gain is set to 50%. I can change to 0. So when I go from 0, all the way to 100%. Let's see the waveform. See if the waveform going bigger. Let me put the audio.
Temperature 59, dew point 52, relative humidity 77%.
Okay, there's no output. Then I increase that.
Here are some observations
Going up,
around
going up,
California and western Nevada.
going up.
Was clear with a temperature
Now it's hit the top.
Sacramento, 60
It hits the top.
Los Angeles, 55 at Truckee, 54
It hits the
at
top
Lake Tahoe,
here,
59 at
and it's only 11%.
Reno. It was partly cloudy.
Let me lower the volume.
71 at San Diego. It was mostly cloudy.
Okay, now it's hit the top. It's about
At Mammoth Lakes,
20% audio gain. And if I keep increasing, did you see that the amplitude stopped going up because ALC kicks in? So even the microphone gain to 100% right now, the peak stays same. So let's do it again. I back to 20%. If I go lower, then you can see lower. So what does that mean? It means that microphone gain, if I increase the microphone gain, the output goes up. But to a certain level, in this particular case, for this particular voice volume, the after 20%, the microphone gain, there's no further gain I can get. The output stays same. Let's take a look at the power meter. Let me put a little bit. Okay. Let me go to microphone gain to 0. Right now microphone gain is 0. Watts meter shows that there's no power. Let me go up. Okay, now go up. Keep going up. Okay, now for this, it's hit 30% microphone gain. It's 2 watts right now. Now I keep going up. It stays at 2 watts, around this 2 watts. This is 100% microphone gain. Still same. Let me go down. Yeah, this is consistent to what we observed from the scope. That a microphone gain, increased microphone gain will increase the output power. But to a certain point, the microphone gain does not play a role because ALC just limit that. Okay, so we find out that the microphone gain can increase the power to a certain point. To a certain point. Of course, if you talk louder, you will increase the gain, increase the output. Also, it's equal to increase the microphone gain. Okay, now the second one is we can play with treble and bass. Let me explain to you what's the treble and the bass means. Okay, this is the treble means that if you increase the treble, this is the audio tone and this is the frequency. If you increase the treble, the high frequency get boosted, the amplitude get boosted. If you increase the bass here, and the lower frequency gets boosted. So if you increase treble, the voice pitch higher. If you increase the bass, the voice sounds muffer. Let's see the on the scope. What's the impact to the output? Okay, this is the scope, and change the treble is going this way. SSB. This is the treble. Let me put some audio in.
Highs 65 to 90. Lows 50 to 60. Sunrise, sunset, and tidal information for the San Francisco Bay Area for Wednesday, July 3.
Okay,
Sunset tonight.
let's increase the treble.
PM. The sunrise tomorrow, 5:53 a.m.
And decrease it.
The sunset tomorrow, 8:34 p.m.
Okay, now increase it again.
At the Golden Gate for the afternoon and evening hours today and the morning hours of tomorrow. High tide, 1:59 p.m. at 4.95 feet. Low tide.
Okay. It shows that if I start to increase treble, this lower frequency, lower amplitude gets fatter. This one gets bigger. If I decrease the treble, this becomes skinny. When I increase the treble, because this is getting fatter, the output should go up. Let's look at the output. See if that's the case. Okay. Let me. Okay, now treble is the smallest, -5. You can see this is only about maybe 5 watts. Not half watts here. Now increase treble. This is the maximum treble. You can see when I increase treble, this is the maximum treble. This is almost 20, almost 30, almost 3 watts. And if I decrease treble to decrease, it's getting less. Okay, so increase treble will increase the output. Okay, now let's take another look. Let's look at the bass. Bass should have the opposite effect of the treble. Okay, this is the minimum bass. Okay, this is minimum. Let's go up. It's very hard to see, but it looks like it gets skinnier. Now go minimum bass. It's getting fatter. Let's look at the power meter. Okay, we have talked about microphone gain and bass, and now we're talking about compression. What's the compression means? Compression means here. We all know this is the speech signal, and compression will compress. Is a do a distortion of the audio signal. You make this one, make the high one smaller. Okay, compress it. It's a linear compression, so the lower one compress little less and less, so the high one is more. So it's a nonlinear distortion. So the high amplitude, the more compressed it is. The lower one only a little bit. Here is a little bit. Then after that, it will boost amplify the entire signal and make it go to the same level. So the net effect is that the higher amplitude signal keep the same, is the same, but the lower one is become boosted. So it's very similar to what we did in the treble. Okay, let's take another look at the graph. Okay, this is the graph shows the compression. This is the original audio, and it does the compression. Basically, non-linearly compress more of the higher amplitude of the signal. Like here, compress more, and the lower one compress less. Then do a amplitude to recover the signal, and signal become this way. So the net effect is that the high amplitude audio signal is kept same, and the lower one, the skinny part, boosted. So in that case, it can boost the output. Yes, it distorted the voice, but more power is sent out. Let's take a look at the signal. Okay, let me. The compression right now is 0, and there's no compression. And let's look at the audio output.
Southwest winds around 5 miles per hour, becoming west in the afternoon.
Okay.
Thursday night, clear until midnight, then becoming partly cloudy. Lows from the lower to mid.
Okay, now I'm going to increase the. Watch, the signal is the lower part is skinny. Okay, now I try to increase that compression. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Did you see that skinny part become fatter? This is the maximum. Let me go down. Compression go down. Okay. The amplitude kept the same, but the skinny part gets boosted, so the output is getting boosted. Let's look at the watts meter. Okay, this is a 0 compression, so it shows it's about 2 watts. Let me increase compression. This is 10. Did you see that? It goes up to almost 40. Let me go down. Compression. Go down to 0. Yeah. So you can see when I increase compression, the skinny part of the audio gets fatter, and the overall power is increased. Okay, so let me write down. Okay, the last one you can do is TOBW. What TOBW means? This is your audio signal on the frequency band. Okay, this is on the frequency band, and this is next 60 to the top, next 6 to the top. So this part, in icon radio, there's three levels. Wide means that this is from. Let me read it from the data specs. Okay, wide. This wide means 100 hertz to 0.29 kilohertz. Mid means 300 hertz to 2.7 kilohertz. And narrow. Narrow means 500 hertz to 2.5 kilohertz. Okay, it basically means that the energy transmitted. So let's see the effects of this on the radio. So let's look at the power meter, and now I'm going to send something. Okay, this is narrow. Let's look at the effects of the power.
Pressure 1020.9 millibars, seas 3 feet. Every 17
It's
seconds.
it hit peak
Marina buoy, wind
like
northwest 23 knots, gusting to 29.
it's about 35. This is narrow.
Millibars, seas
Okay, now let's go to the mid.
buoy, winds northwest 25 knots, gusting to
Still about 35. Let's go to the wide.
1012.6 millibars, seas 3 feet. Every 17
Same.
Midpoint waves wave lighter, buoy water temperature.
So, changing the TOBW not that effective. Okay, now let's look at the watts meter.
To 25.
This is the narrow.
1013.6 millibars, seas 7 feet. Every 8 seconds.
Around 40, 4 watts
Wave lighter, buoy
narrow.
water temperature.
Then let's look at the
Every 18
mid.
seconds. You're listening to NOAA Weather Radio.
A little bit lower, but it's almost 4 watts also. Let's go to the wide.
2.55 megahertz from atop the Queens Ridge. This broadcast originates from the National Weather Service Office
Similar,
located in
4 watts.
Monterey, California.
So it means that TOBW bandwidth of the speech is not really effective to impact the SSB output power. Okay, let's summarize what we can do to boost the output. First, definitely you can speak louder, which is equivalent to microphone gain. If you speak louder, yes, you can increase the output power, but to a certain point. After this point, the AOC kicks in, regardless how much more you can try to gain, the output power stays same. The second is the increase the bass or lower the bass or increase the treble. The bass really not that effective, but the treble effective. Treble increase the pitch, and you can see the power is sending out more, but the voice will be high pitched. Compression is very effective. When the compression goes up, the narrow part of the voice signal gets boosted and the power goes up. And BW, basically the bandwidth of the audio, changing the bandwidth of the audio is not that effective. So the most effective is microphone gain, treble, and compression. Let's do a comparison of the transmission power. Okay, let's do first. Set everything very low. Let's keep the microphone gain because I really cannot set to 0. Okay, microphone gain at 50%, and compression is off. Okay, and treble. Treble set to 0. So this is the minimum. Okay, and let's see the watts meter. What's the watts meter tells me? Let me set at the same audio level.
Wind waves around 3 feet. Southwest swell 2 to 3 feet at 16 seconds. For Friday, west winds 15 to 20 knots. Wind waves 3 to 4 feet.
You can see
swell 2 to 4 feet at 16 seconds. The coastal waters forecast from
you can see the maximum is
out to 10
about
nautical
4 watts, and it's getting lower and up and swing quite a lot. Now let me go to the treble to the max,
diminishing to 10 to 15 knots after midnight.
and
Wind waves 5 to 6 feet, decreasing to 3 to 4 feet after
compression go to 10.
Southwest
Let's
swell
take a look.
2 to 3 feet at 16 seconds. Independence Day, northwest winds 10 to 20 knots with gusts up to
You can
30
see the
knots.
power output is more consistent. There's no swing back, so average power is much more.
Southwest swell 2 to 3 feet at 16 seconds.
And the reason it does not go to 4 is because the microphone gain is not enough, I guess. If I,
Wind waves 3 to 4 feet. South swell 2 to
yeah,
3 feet.
it does not swing that much, so it transmits more power out.
Northwest wind.
Okay, so the second one we want to see is the spectrum. As we said, the TOBW we change the spectrum, and let's see the spectrum change in the do we really see the TOBW spectrum change? Let's try it. Let me set it up. Okay, this is the near one. Let's see.
I peak with a dominant period of 18 seconds. Maximum at current of 4.1 knots at 5:31 a.m. Thursday and 1.6.
Okay, we can see this is narrow. So it's about 2 grid, a little bit over. Let's go to the
The rest of tonight, partly cloudy.
wide one.
Patchy drizzle
Let's
after
take a look.
midnight. Lows from the 40s to upper 50s. Southwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Independence Day, partly cloudy in the morning, then becoming mostly sunny. Patchy drizzle in the morning.
Yeah,
Highs in
not much difference. So I do not see much difference in the TOBW. Anyway, so I finished all the tests, and I show you one more thing about I forgot to show you about why people buy the this Halley microphone. Why? The reason is very simple. Look at this Halley. This is the two models, HC5 and HC4. What does it do? HC4, it boosts, this is the frequency, it boosts the amplitude on the high frequency signal. So basically it's doing a little bit tremble, increase the tremble. So HC5 is doing the same thing, but less, it's mild. So especially the HC4 is basically increase the treble. So that's why people love that, because you increase the power, the SSB power. Okay. So what I'm going to do to boost my SSB, I'm going to do this way. The microphone gain to a certain point, and the treble increase a little bit, but it will distort my voice, make my voice higher pitched. Compression will distort the signal, but it will boost the power. So these three, I play around with that. Let's see how I play with it on the radio. Actually, there's a guideline from the okay. Here, first, need to turn off the compression. Turn off the compression, and the microphone gain goes to much lower. Okay, now use my normal voice to talk, and let's see this one hit the top. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I just talk normally. I talk normally, and in the meantime, increase my microphone gain. Okay, I talk normally, increase my microphone gain, and till the point that the microphone gain does not even increase. Okay, let me make it. Hello. Okay, that's good. Increase microphone gain. Right now the microphone gain increased. Hello, 1 2 3, test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. So at 30%, my voice hit the maximum already. Yeah. Hello, testing. Hello, testing. Hello. So above 33, the microphone gain stop to be effective. Okay, so I changed to 30%. Now, I turn on the compression, and turn on the meter, and the second line is ALC. I try to make the ALC actually compression, I basically just make it like a 3/4. Hello. This is very hard to test the quality. I need to talk to somebody to get so I put a 5 here, and then treble. I don't need to do the treble. Treble is the same as the compression. So let's see the audio. Hello, testing. Hello, testing. Hello. 1 2 3. So I almost hit 4 watts. That's the best I can do. Okay, good night. It's a long video. Sorry about that, but I try to explain so many concepts. Okay, bye bye.